You got it right, man. It is a big switch between the two characters. Remember, this is called Vinland Saga, so it's not called Thorfinn Saga, right?
Wake up to reality. Nothing ever goes as planned in this accursed world. The longer you live, the more you will realize that the only things that truly exist in this reality are merely pain, suffering, and futility.
Hey, welcome to YouTube, Madara's Corner. Thank y'all guys for watching and coming and joining us. We're going to do a little things different here. We're going to do a really quick recap of Vinland Saga, give you our point of views, give you our gradings, and then hopefully hear from you on what you got next. Well, this one is Vinland Saga, episode 10. It's been 3 years since the last time saw Eren and Thorfinn. So if you notice that Thorfinn's a little more mature, a little more outgoing, is because it's been a little bit of time since he made a declaration of no war, no fighting, no violence. We start off the episode with Vinland and Thorfinn. Vinland, Thorfinn, Thorfinn and Eren, they are chopping down a tree. He notices something. He's about halfway through it. He gives the axe to Eren, and they both go at it. And they push the tree together, and they go 1, 2, 3, boom, knock it over, and bam. That was the last tree on the acres that Cattell had given them for the property. So they had finally knocked down the last tree. It's all been untreed. Deforest is what it is. And they could finally start tilling the land to make it into soil so they can actually farm on it, other than the little patch that they already have. So they start wrestling around. They say, man, can't believe we did it, man. They done. They finally got it done. They're happy. They're celebrating. They sit back and relax, and they sort of start pondering, man, like, what are you going to do after this, man? Eden starts saying, man, he knows what he's going to do. He's going to marry the love of his life, the slave girl that is Cattell's actual concubine. But he's like, I'm going to marry this chick when I'm done. I'm going to show, man, this is what a free man is about. And he looks at Thorfinn and he says, what are you going to do, man? You going to go back to Iceland? And he was like, I guess, and Eden is like, man, you don't really seem too confident about it. But he was like, so, I mean, what are your thoughts, man? Will you return back home? And he's like, man, I really don't know. He's like, it's been tough, I don't even know if anybody's there. He's like, and the master doesn't seem like he has any intentions on I apologize, I'm reading something earlier. He goes, he was like, man, I'm not even there. He goes like, I don't know what's gonna be there when I get back. And so he just ponders a little bit about it, and Eren gets up and says, man, freedom is just a step away from us, and yet we haven't got a clue what to do with it, man. And that stump him right there, man. He's like, what am I gonna do? So they're just pondering things and everything. So Cattell starts to come up on his horse and says, man, look at y'all done cut every tree down. Y'all done. And they're like, yeah, we're done. And the master goes, okay, well, I see y'all did real good. I'm gonna tell y'all this. He goes, once y'all finish tilling this land, and once y'all get that, I'll make y'all 2 free men. And y'all don't even have to grow the season, grow the wheat and everything. And I think he kind of feels that compassion for last episode that we saw when they uprooted all of their plants and everything. And, he just like, I can tell he's a softy at heart. He isn't really hard. And it's kind of going to show in the next couple of episodes what happens to him, because he's not a really good he's not hard at heart, so but that being said, they let him go. He said, y'all free men whenever y'all get done. All y'all got to do is till the land. He then informs them that he's going to be going off to go see Clute and the army, but he goes, once he gets back, he's going to make them free men. And in the meantime, while they're gone, they need to till the land, soil it, and then we're gonna see farm simulator number 2.3, because they did an upgrade software, and they did an update and everything. So now we're gonna see farm 2.3. So no, I've looked in the manga. If they've been following the manga, we're not gonna see farm 2.3. But yeah, it's gonna be funny. So that being said, They show Odin, he's in the back yawning, thinking nothing much of it. They said, okay, so when I get back, I'm gonna free you guys. Katil said that to Thorfinn and Eden. Eden, man, they can't even believe their ears. They're gonna be free people, man. So then we cut there, and Katil does tell them like, hey, whenever y'all get a chance, have y'all stopped to see the old man? And they were like, nah, like, we haven't been out there. So they started thinking maybe we need to go see him. And it ends right there for their story. So we then pick up on a ship as the ship is sailing. We don't really know who it is yet. They're selling on the ship and everything. It's making its way through waters, and it turns out to be Clute. We see one of his servants come in and says, "Your Majesty, we're here. We're back home." And then we see him raise up from a sheet, and it's Clute. You got the Viking, classic Nordic Denmark beard going on. It's starting to grow, but he has this look in his eyes, like man, he's hardened, battle hardened. So they arrive to Denmark and the Holland Peninsula, where King Harold, his brother, is. So they give us a little flashback that when their father had died, the land was split into two. One was Denmark given to his brother Harold, and then the other one was given to Clute, which was England, right? And since it split that way, it really wasn't meant for Clute to like even succeed or to really be a king in his own right. It was meant to be fought back and killed, or either fought back to Denmark. And so his older brother Harold was going to initially essentially inherit everything, Denmark and all the Scandinavian countries, and he was to be like the true king. There weren't supposed to be two kings. Clute knows this, Harold knows this, they both know this, right? So but Clute ends up winning many battles, becoming a hero, becoming very successful. This is in the 11th century. So he becomes very, very successful, and he ends up overthrowing a lot of England and almost essentially becoming the king of England. But, he's not quite there yet, but like he still calls himself king, right? So, he basically gets word that he needs to go back, right? So he goes back and everything. He's coming back. He's seeing the village and everything, reminiscing. He hasn't been to Denmark since he was a child, because they remember they took him into servitude to go serve the other king of England while he was there as like a slave captive, actually, to make sure that there's peace between the nations. And then so he's back. He's looking, and all of a sudden he sees his dead father's head rolling on the ground, looking at him, and we're like, oh man, what the heck is going on? So he's like scratching his eyes. It's the stress of everything, right? And so he goes and sees his brother. His brother's very ill. They tell him that he only has a couple of days to live. So he's looking at his brother, and he's ill. He says, brother, man, I can't believe, man. He's like, I hope you're well. We're gonna go get together soon. And then his brother raises his hand gingerly and places on his hand. He holds it with two hands, and he says, it was his dying words, man. He's like, you're the king. And everybody's like, what? Like, oh my God, And then we just see the smirk on his face, and that tells you everything you need to know about Clute, what's going on, situation, everything. And it turns out that Clute's actually the head switches over, and it's actually his father's head, and then he just lays it out. His guilt of what he's doing to his brothers just lays it out there. And it turns out that he's actually poisoned his brother, poisoned other people. He's a poisoner. He's not cheating his way, but he's sabotaging his way into the actual crown. So he's not winning legitimately the way a Viking would, right? By brute force. He's actually poisoning, underhanding things. And this isn't sitting well with him, is really hurting his conscience. And his father basically says, hey, now you're going to suffer. You're going to have the curse. And this is what the episode is called. The curse of the crown you're going to be the curse of the head. You're going to be head of two nations, and it's going to wear you down and kill you faster than it did me and your brother. And so he's like, freaking out, having these delusions and everything. He snaps to. They said, "Man, go get your room." They were like, "Hey, go prepare a room for Clute. He's been tired. He's been traveling." So he's sitting there. He's looking at the crown and everything, and he's having a conversation with himself. A slave girl knocks on the door, says, "I got your drink," and he's literally having this out loud conversation. So he's basically, the stress is causing him to be delusional, right? He's having these paranoia conversations with himself. He sees his father's head once again and basically asks him, if you could see me in broad daylight, that means your curse has deepened. And get out of here, man. He was like, "Man, you think this is a curse? This is nothing." He was like, "I can handle this. I can handle war. I can handle the two kings. I can handle my brother. I can bring us in the right direction." And he says, international unification is a prerequisite to the construction of a utopia. So he knows that stress, life, everything's going to get away, but he needs to build this utopia for Denmark, right? For his country, his people, his kingdom. He wants to bring it all together. And his dad says, um, "You really have come to think like a true ruler, Clue." So the end justifies the means. And then Clue starts kind of like smirk and laugh. And he says, "Once I hated you, I wish for your death, Lord Seven," which is his dad, Seven. And he says, "You're the only one I can speak honestly with." And then, he basically sits back, rests, and he says, we'll take care of each other. And and then he looks out the window, longing. He says, "I have nothing to worry about." When he knows he's lying to himself, he's lying to everybody, that he is stressed to the
Yeah.
max. He knows his conscience is getting to him. And that's the running theme of the Vinland Saga. It's about the season 2 for sure. It's the inner conscience really starting to catch up to everybody's actions, right? To Thorfinn, to Klutz, to Erins, to Catil, the master. It's starting to come up to everybody, because everybody's living a facade life at this point. And Eve's Thorfinn living a facade life, like he doesn't care about it, but care about his life, but he really does. Clute about killing everyone around him, thinking that he doesn't care because he's doing it to justify the means of the end, but he really does care that what he's doing is wrong. Catil, living a facade, thinking everybody he's Iron Fist, but he's really a coward and underneath. So this is what this whole episode, whole theme so far has been going. So overall, it was a good episode. Kind of deep, a lot of talking, but kind of really moved the story forward. You know, if it comes down to it, yes, the episode is to set up the next arc, which is coming up. It's a lot of battles, a lot of fighting, a lot of great stuff. I think that it is a little necessary to understand where Clute's mindset is at this time, because it's going to justify a lot of next coming up episodes, right? Also, on top of that, same thing with Thorfinn. He's starting to wonder what he's going to do as a free man now that he has this freedom. So, Nick, man, what you think of this episode so far?
Usually for Vinland Saga, a talking episode of a lot of depth, I'm not liking, but for it being season two, I've kind of already accepted it after like the first few episodes. I like the time skip. It kind of moved it forward. We're starting to see Thorfinn's mindset, of. It's funny because you see him and Canute kind of like switch, where one's now very ruthless, cold hearted, and the other one's caring. And we all know that's how Canute used to be beforehand. And so you're starting seeing like a yin and yang thing, I feel. And we've talked about it. These are the two, probably the two top people of the anime. And so I enjoyed it. Like you said, we have to know where their mindset's at for what's coming. And so for me, like Thorfinn not knowing exactly what he's gonna do because he's a slave, he never was a slave really, and now it's a new life of being free again. Um, and he's thinking of peace and no war and this and that, whereas you have the other side of the coin, and Canute's basically like, I have to, rule everything. War. I don't care how I do it. I don't care if it's my brother. I don't care what it is. The only one he can, he kind of reminds himself of his dad now at this point, and so I liked it. surprisingly I liked it of for what it gave me of this episode.
Yeah, man, that's definitely you got it right, man. It is a big switch between the two characters. Remember, this is called Vinland Saga, so it's not called Thorfinn Saga, right?
Yeah,
So it's gonna switch back and forth between main characters because it's about Finland, right?
yeah,
So it's about the story of Finland, how it played out in the 11th century, in 12th century, right? So, well, 11th century, I can't say 12 because I don't live till 100 or something, but to the through the 11th century and the whole battle of what made Denmark, right? So, and Finland, right? And so that being said, yeah, it is a contrast between each other, between Clute and between Thorfinn. But like I said, it's gonna take it's gonna be if you talking more episodes, and I think the next branch of this season we're gonna start getting real, where everything is at. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like the action, the drama, and stuff like that. Because we have to eventually get somewhere. Where is this all leading? We're talking about a Viking nation, right? A whole race of people who just love action, right? So
yeah.
we got to see where this is going. So with that being said, overall, what would you, Nick, give this episode in our 5-star rating?
I'm gonna give it a 3.7.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna do 3.5, but I think 3.7 for me on this one, only because of it didn't spend too much on the farming part of the beginning. It gave you just enough of how you understand where Thorfinn's mindset is, and then it leads into, like you said, the farm owner, I mean, like the master of where he, like what's his story's leading into, and then it really focused on our next character of Canute, his mindset, where he's at mentally, of trust issues and everything. But it didn't feel like it lagged and like just kept going in. It was always something different, like a flashback, then okay, present day, flashback, then present day. And so it felt a little refreshing from what we've had. And I mean, everybody loves the word character development, so we saw a lot of that. And so I think I was pretty happy with the episode as of that.
All right, all right. Well, once again, you're a little more generous than
I
I
know.
am. You know, yeah, I give this episode a good 3.3 is where I'm at.
Yeah,
Okay, animation 1 star always, man,
yeah,
top notch animation, right? Even when they were just doing the dying scene of the father's head on the ground, like, man, way to go, right?
yeah,
Two, uh because it's Vinland Saga, and I hope that one day it gets a lot better. Three, like 1.3 is for the story for me. So
yeah,
did it give us the necessary context that we need for the following setup for the next arc that's coming up? Yes, like definitely. Right? Did it need to spend an entire episode on it? Yeah, I could see where they could spend an entire episode with Clute and how they integrated chapter 70. So if we're looking through the manga lenses, it's chapter 73 that they go through, and then partial chapter 73, and then they do all of 72. So they go 73 the first half of the manga, and then they go back to 72. Why they did it like that, such a weird way, like I don't know. Because like if you just follow the manga the way it was like you pretty much get the whole gist of it, and it would have been a lot easier to understand. But the whole letting us know that they're free didn't give us the time skip, like saying, hey, this is 3 years later in the future, and then going back where Clute was actually 3 years in the past. So it's like why did they not let us know something like that? And just like, I guess we got to figure it on our own by the way they animated Thorfinn, because you did notice a huge difference in Thorfinn, right?
yeah,
body language, everything, like the way he felt, everything, right? So we did get a little like context on there, and like you said, everybody's favorite word, character development, but to me, I don't think it was like that that hard of a hit and everything. So uh to me, I hopefully things start picking up, which in the if it's like this, man, we're gonna get like another 5 or 6 episodes of straight talking, man. Like no
Yes.
joke, bro. Yeah, like no joke, bro. Like it's another 5 to 6. I mean, they got some cool animation parts,
Yeah.
and that's gonna be rocking, but other than that, it's gonna be a lot of conversations, and I'm hoping they merge a lot of these panels together so that we can get through them very quickly and we can come up to a really good and really good, all the good parts, man, all the good parts that are coming up. So my overall was a 3.3. I wanted to give it a 3.5, but I just, man, like, give me some action every episode. Every, like, you're living in the world of Vikings, bro. Like they fight constantly. Give me some action over fighting over a chicken, man. I don't even care. Like at this point, bro.
I'm
Like
yeah.
just
Like
give me something, bro. Like
if
kicking a chicken up down the road, bro. Like give me something, man. Like they're not giving us nothing. So that's why I scored a 3.3. Hope you like the new format. We quickly recapping things. We want y'all to enjoy it. Yeah, we're not the kind that are gonna moo like over
no,
the last 2 episodes, man. Like
no,
that was crazy, man. Like, dude, nowhere in there did a shed a tear need to be done. These people are whacked out. We're gonna tell you how it is, how it looks, how it's going to be action, where we need it, see it improved, and hopefully you like it. If you don't, let us know in the comments, man. We're here to engage with y'all, to say we're not here to fight or anything, because everybody loves anime. We want this community to grow, and we thank y'all very much for watching. Check us out on all of our social media channels. We got them all: TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, and also on top of that, we just Rumble. We're gonna start Rumble as well. So if you want to catch it on Rumble, go ahead and check it out there. Less ads. So if you don't want to see so many ads, go to Rumble, right? And then you don't have to see anything cut out, because they allowed everything on there. So just FYI. But other than that, Nick, Master of Ceremonies, do you have anything?
nah, man. Just let us know in the comments what you thought of the episode. Like Andrew said, did it make you cry? Was it man? Was it? Are you waiting for more
I hope they
action?
didn't make them cry on this
Yeah.
episode.
But yeah, just let us know. Make sure you like, subscribe. Does a lot for the network. Does a lot for our videos to keep giving you more. Be on the lookout for our Tokyo Revengers if you're a fan of that. Also, we're talking about that. Blue Lock, we're going to be breaking it down. We have some videos coming out on that to catch up to where the anime is at right now. We're going to be doing a lot more, so just be on the lookout in our videos. We'll be doing a lot of the big names, of course, for y'all's entertainment. But that being said, man, y'all be safe, keep binge watching, and enjoy. Later, guys.
Peace.